the sons of Keturah, every nation is going to break forth into singing, and is going to be happy when these Edomites are brought out of rulership, man. All right? Because they're the reason for the suffering on the planet. All right? They are the reason for the mass poverty on the planet, man. All right? The way these Edomites hoard wealth is like there's no other nation that's done that before. The way they do it, man. They go into these other countries, they destabilize it, you know, and then they set up their puppet governments, all right? And then what? They steal their natural resources. So these other nations, man, they're tired of that shit, all right? They're tired of all that wickedness, man, okay? Let's continue with that, all right? The whole earth is at rest and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon. All right, so the trees are going to rejoice in that day, man. All right, not only the people, but the trees, man. All right, and not only the trees, but the animals are going to rejoice in that day, man. All right, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller is come up against us. All right. Because what do these Edomites do? These Edomites do something called deforestation, man. All right, where they basically they cut down massive amounts of trees, man. All right. When the amount of trees that they cut down, it's like, damn. Listen, man. First of all, it's unnecessary, man. All right. And second of all, you need trees to breathe, man. The trees are there to give out oxygen, man. All right. But these Edomites, what do? They destroy millions of acres of trees, man, at one time, okay? And these Edomites think that they're not going to have to pay for that, man. All right? The Most High said what? He said, he that destroyed the earth, he's going to destroy them, man. All right? So they have a lot to pay for, man. All right? You can't just do all this wickedness, destroy the planet that the Most High created through his son, and think that nothing's going to happen to you, man. All right? Let me continue with that, man. Hell from beneath is moved to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. Right? It has raised up their thrones, all the kings of the nations. All right? So all these different nations, all these different heathen nations, they're lifting up against you, Edomites, man. All right? You have Korea lifting up against you. You know, you have Syria looking at you sideways. All right? All right? You have China looking at you sideways, all right? China is ditching the petrodollar, man, all right? And that's a big thorn in America's side, okay? So these different nations, man, they're starting to realize, listen, man, who's the bully on the block? Who's bullying all these different nations and stealing their natural resources, man? The so-called white man, all right? By way of America, man, and England and Britain, man. All these so-called Edomite Caucasian areas, man, they're the places that steal and rob off from all these different nations. All right? So what do you think these different nations are going to feel about that? These different nations are going to want a revenge for that, man. They're going to want something for that. Okay? You can't just do all that to these people and expect for them to just be cool with you. Okay? All right? And they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become as weak as we? All right? Art thou become like unto us? All right? So that's what they're going to say, man. When they see the low state that you Edomites are going to be brought to, they're going to lift up a parable against you, man. All right? It says, is this the proud Edomite? Right? The proud Caucasian, is that him? Right? That's what they're going to say, man. All right? Because once you're brought down, you're going to be lower than all these different nations, man. All right? Even Elam, all these different nations are going to be above you, man. Okay? Okay? So they're going to look down on you and they're going to lift up a parable against you. Let's continue. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vows, the worm is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And that's a key right there. All right? Who weakened the nations? All right? And how do you weaken the nation, by the way? Right? You take, first of all, you destabilize it. That's all these Edomites do. Okay, that's all they do. They destabilize nations from the inside out. Okay, they set up ISIS. They set up these different proxy groups within that nation. All right, and they destabilize it, and then they go inside pretending they're gonna help, and they steal their natural resources. All right, but that's what they do to every nation. And if you don't control your own natural resources, right, that means your economy's weak. And if your economy is weak, your military will be weak because you need money to sustain your military, man. All right? So we know that these Edomites are the reason for weakening the nation. So that's why it says, thou that weakest the nations. All right? So it's clear, man. These people, they're trying to save Edom. They're trying to say, no, Edom's not the so-called white man. The so-called white man's Japhet. That's BS, man. There's no prophecy that said Japhet will be doing this to the planet, man. All right? Matter of fact, there's no prophecy that said Japhet will be ruling again. Okay? Japhet was ruling during the time of the Medes, man. All right? The Medo-Persian Empire was an empire divided between the Medes, which are Japhites, and the Persians, which are Elamites, man. Okay? Which would be your so-called East Indians and Iranians today, man. All right? So, when these people say that, they really don't understand the scriptures, man. All right, they don't understand. They don't understand prophecy. Let me read that again. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? All right, and the word Lucifer means light bearer. It doesn't mean Satan. All right, the average person thinks that Lucifer means Satan. No, Lucifer doesn't mean Satan. Lucifer just means light bearer. Okay, or someone who has the light. Right? The Lord is really, people get offended, but the Lord is known as the son of the morning. All right? The morning star. That's the same thing as saying Lucifer. It's the same thing. It means light bearer. Okay? But they add a certain spookism to that word. Okay? Right? Son of the morning, how art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? And that's how we know who it's talking about. It's talking about the Edomites, man. All right, the so-called white man, the people of the Most High's curse. Okay, he weakened the nations. He's the reason why Haiti is in the poorest place on the down Western Hemisphere, man. All right, because they're in debt to who, man? They're in debt to the French. Okay, they're in debt to the French. How are they in debt to the French? Was it by a righteous decree? No, man. They said because you rebelled into slavery, you owe them money for slave labor. Right? So they gave them something that they could never pay back. Alright? The interest on it was something that they could never pay back. So who owns the natural resources of Haiti, man? Is it the Haitians? It's not the Haitians, man. Alright? There's the Levites, I should say. Because they come from the tribe of Levi. Alright? It's the so-called white man. Alright? It's the Edomites who own that. Alright? Because of his trickery, alright, and his false dealings. He takes control and steals the natural resources. All right? That's another instance of him weakening the nation. Or weakening a nation. All right? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. All right? So when you exalt your throne above the heavens, you're going into outer space, man. All right? And that happened in like the late 1960s. All right? 1969. All right? And that's a prophecy to show you that that's Edom. All right? Because, matter of fact, I'll get Obadiah right now. It said that Edom would do that. And as soon as he does that, the Heavenly Father was going to bring him down. As soon as he goes up into outer space. All right? Matter of fact, okay, here it is. Obadiah 1. Okay, this is Obadiah 1 and 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, what's the symbol of America? All right? What's the symbol of Greece? What's the symbol of the Romans? What's the symbol of all Edomite nations that have been on the planet for the most part? Their symbol is the eagle, man. All right? Because the eagle represents pride. All right? And that's one of the characteristics of Edom. All right? And though thou set thy nest among the stars, all right? So that's going into the same thing I was reading in Isaiah the 14th chapter. All right, it said he would set his nest among the stars. Let me see this. Isaiah, what was I at? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven, I will exalt my throne above the stars. All right, that's in Isaiah the 14th chapter. And this is Obadiah the 1st chapter and the 4th verse. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. All right, so that's when the Lord started to bring these Edomites down, their society down. All right, it was after the 70s, man. All right, that's when it started to have a rapid decline, man. All right, economically, morally, everything went down heavily after the 60s, after the 69, man. All right, everything, man. Okay, the heyday, the height of Edomites' power was probably the 20s. It was like the 20s and the 40s. That was the height of the Edomite power structure. Okay? But after the 70s, that's when it started to go down. That's when you had the hippie movement. All right? And all these drugs came into the community. Okay? And you have a bunch of degenerates walking around now. You know? So listen, man. The fact that Esau is the so-called white man is evident, man. The scriptures tell you very clearly, man. Okay? Let me continue with this. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee.